I know where they are.
Okay, we are live. We are going to look at Ecclesiastes. Talked beforehand, apparently. We did this not too long ago, but 5 years ago. So we'll see if our opinions and attitudes have changed in the last 5 years regarding what we read and see here. I would say the world has gotten a little crazier in the last 5 years, for sure. But
it was during COVID, so.
well, that's true. Maybe it's a little less crazy than that. Ecclesiastes, so Kohelet is the Hebrew name for the book. Kahal, the verb just means to assemble or to gather. So a Kohelet is a person who kind of leads the assembly, leads the gathering. So the NIV translated the teacher, which makes sense, right? Someone who kind of leads the assembly, the gathering. Ecclesiastes, if I say the word ecclesiastical, if something's ecclesiastical, what do you think of?
Ecclesiastes.
Well, yeah. It's kind of a big word for church, right? Ecclesiastical stuff is church stuff. So there too is a gathering, right? So you'll notice in the EHV they say the words of Ecclesiastes, and not the teacher anymore. The words of, so they're just kind of personifying the word for the one who gathers people together, the teacher. As we read, there's going to be a few verses where you say, even though he doesn't come out and say it by name, seems like this is probably Solomon talking, King Solomon. He talks about all the wisdom he has and all the money he had and all the power and women he had. And
Not boasting.
no, well, yeah. He definitely, this is at the end of his life, and he's looking back and saying, there's nothing under the sun that lasts. It is here one day and it's gone the next. And true wisdom says focus on other things rather than what money can buy and what earthly pleasures can bring. So that's a little bit on the name of the book. Like I say, sometimes you'll see Kohelet with a Q. That's just the one who gathers, the one who assembles. Ecclesiastes, same thing. The teacher kind of all has the same theme. All right. Let's watch our friend here and his cartoons.
Oh, it works.
Yeah, we got it working out. We being good.
Can you see him?
Ecclesiastes. It's part of the Bible's wisdom literature, and it opens with this line. The words of Kohelet, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Now in Hebrew, the word Kohelet means someone who has gathered people together. And in this case, it's to learn, so it's often translated in English as teacher. And the teacher is said to be a son or a descendant of King David. And so there are different views about who this figure might have been. Many think that it refers to King Solomon, others to maybe one of the later kings of David's line, and still others think that it's actually a later Israelite teacher who has adopted a Solomon-like persona as a teaching aid. Whichever of these views is correct, the key thing is to recognize that the teacher is a character in the book and is different than the author of the book, who remains anonymous. So we do hear the teacher's voice for most of the book, but it's actually a different voice, the author, who introduces us to the teacher in the first sentence and then at the end concludes the book by summarizing and evaluating everything the teacher just said. So the author is someone who wants us to hear all that the teacher has to say and then help us process it and form our own conclusion. So what does the teacher have to say? Well, the author summarizes the teacher's basic message at the beginning and right at the end. And it's Hevel. Hevel. Everything is utterly Hevel. Now, most English Bibles translate this word Hevel as meaningless, but that doesn't quite capture the heart of the idea. In Hebrew, Hevel literally means vapor or smoke, and the teacher uses this word 38 times in the book as a metaphor to describe how life is, first of all, temporary or fleeting, like a wisp of smoke. But secondly, also how life is an enigma or a paradox. Like smoke, it appears solid, but when you try and grab onto it, there's nothing there. So there's so much beauty or goodness in the world, but just when you're enjoying it, tragedy strikes and it all seems to blow away. Or we all have a strong sense of justice, but all of the time, bad things happen to good people. So life is constantly, it's unpredictable, it's unstable, or in the teacher's words, like chasing after the wind. Hevel. Now that's kind of a downer. So why is he saying all of this? The author's basic goal is to target all of the ways that we try to build meaning and purpose in our lives apart from God. And he lets the teacher deconstruct these. So the author thinks we spend most of our time investing energy and emotion in things that ultimately have no lasting meaning or significance. And he lets the teacher give us a hard lesson in reality. You can see this most clearly in the opening and closing poems, which focus first of all on time and then on death. So the teacher says, you can spend your whole life working and achieving because you think that makes your life meaningful. You should really stop and consider the march of time. For all of the human effort that takes place in the world, nothing really ever changes. So sure, we develop technology and we build nations that rise and fall, but go climb a mountain and see if it cares. It was there long before any of us, and it will be here long after. I mean, no one's even going to remember you or anything you did 100 years from now, but that mountain, it'll still be there. And the ocean will still be breaking on the beach, and the sun will still rise and set. And so time will eventually erase you and me and everything that we care about. And if that's not disheartening enough, the teacher also can't stop talking about death all the way through the book, but especially in this poem near the end. He says, death is the great equalizer, and it renders meaningless most of our daily activities. It devours the wise and the fool, the rich and the poor, no matter who you are, what you've done, good or bad, we're all going to die, and it's inescapable. So with these two ideas in hand, the teacher goes on to consider all the activities and false hopes that we invest our lives in to find meaning and significance, like wealth or career or social status or pleasure. So you think working hard is going to make life worth it? Think about the stress and the toll that that takes on you, all the anxiety and the sleepless nights. And by the time you actually earn some wealth, you're going to be too old to enjoy it anyway. And then by the time that you have to pass it on to someone, they may not even be someone who cares about anything that you did. Or maybe you think pleasure is going to make life worth it for you. Go for it.
There you go.
I came back, didn't Monday came.
We were worried about
So what does the
that.
teacher advocate then? That we become pure hedonists or relativists? Well, no, that would be Hevel too. The teacher acknowledges the ideas from Proverbs that living by wisdom and the fear of the Lord, that these have real advantages. On the whole, life will probably go better for you. See, but the problem is that even living by wisdom and the fear of the Lord, they're Hevel too, because they don't guarantee a good life. Good people die tragically, and horrible people live long and prosper. There's just too many exceptions. And so even wisdom is Hevel. Again, not meaningless, but an enigma. Wisdom doesn't work the way you think it should all of the time. So what's the way forward in the midst of all this Hevel? And here, paradoxically, the teacher discovers the key to the true enjoyment of life under the sun. It's accepting Hevel. It's acknowledging that everything in your life is totally out of your control. About 6 different times at some of the bleakest moments in his monologue, the teacher talks about the gift of God, which is the enjoyment of simple, good things in life, like friendship or family, a good meal, or a sunny day. You can't control these things. You're certainly not guaranteed them, but that's their beauty. When I come to adopt a posture of total trust in God, it frees me to simply enjoy my life as I actually experience it, not as I think it ought to be. Because even my expectations about what life ought to be are ultimately Hevel. Hevel. Everything under the sun is utterly Hevel. And so the teacher's words come to a close. Right here at the end, the author speaks up again, and he brings it all to a conclusion. He says, the teacher's words are very important for us to hear. He likens them to a shepherd's staff with a goad, a pointy end, which might hurt when it pokes you, but he says the teacher is trying to poke you to get you to move in the right direction, towards greater wisdom. The author then warns us that you can actually take the teacher's words too far, and you could spend your whole life buried in books trying to answer life's existential puzzles. Don't try, he says. You'll never get there. And so instead, the author offers his own conclusion, and it's this: fear God and keep his commandments. This is the whole duty of humans, for God will bring every deed into judgment, every hidden thing, whether good or evil. And so the author thinks it's good to let the teacher challenge your false hopes and remind you that time and death make most of life completely out of your control. But what gives life true meaning is the hope of God's judgment. The hope that one day God will clear away all of the hevel and bring true justice to our world. And it's that hope that should fuel a life of honesty and integrity before God, despite the fact that I remain puzzled by most of life's mysteries. And that's the wisdom of the book of Ecclesiastes.
Okay.
Wow, do we even need to study it?
Yeah, there you go.
Just watch all 66 of them.
So as he said, this is part of the wisdom literature of the Old Testament. Remember, it was divided into the law and the prophets and the writings, the Old Testament divisions. Tanakh is sometimes what it said. So the Torah, the Nevi'im, and the Ketuvim, the law, the prophets, and the writings. So this will be the writings part of the Old Testament. So this is Psalms and Proverbs and Ecclesiastes and Job and books like that fall into that category. They all kind of have a very poetic, it's written differently than the narratives of Genesis or Exodus or the words of the prophets in Jeremiah or Isaiah. These are all kind of coupled under, they have a different kind of flavor and style as you read them. So I think that's probably good by way of introduction. Talked about the hevel, smoke, I think I've described it before as in the winter you go out and exhale and that what comes out of your mouth, it looks like something, right? But try to grab it and you're not going to be able to. It's there, but it's not, right? So kind of this idea of transitory. I like his thought too about like an enigma. And I think that does help explain some parts where he's not saying wisdom in the Lord is dumb or foolish or it's nothing you can grab onto, but there's times where that was a sermon today, God's wisdom doesn't seem smart. God's wisdom seems foolish. How can something so simple accomplish something so great? Why is God allowing bad things to happen in my life? I have wisdom, I fear the Lord, but when it comes to this specific thing, I don't get it. And he said that somehow that sometimes that's just, and you got to go, I don't know what God's doing, but he's doing something.
Yeah.
That was the guy, the mission guy who came about prison ministry, right? He said, there's times in prison, I don't know what God is doing, but I know he's doing something. And I have to be okay with that and not try to worry too much about God's plans and make his plans my plans. So that'll help in some of those sections where it seems like, is he saying it's not good to trust God's wisdom? No, he's saying sometimes God's wisdom just leaves you going like this. And then you say, okay, you're God and I'm not. And I have to accept that. See a little outline there. Why don't we get into the text? Let's do 1 through 11. Ecclesiastes 1 through 11. John's got that.
The words of Ecclesiastes, David's son, king in Jerusalem. Nothing but vapor, Ecclesiastes said. Totally vapor. Everything is just vapor that vanishes. What does anyone gain by all his hard work at which he works hard under the sun? A generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth keeps standing forever. The sun rises and the sun sets. It hurries back, panting and out of breath to its starting point where it rises again. The wind goes round and around, blowing south and blowing north. The wind keeps going around in circles. All streams keep flowing to the sea, but the sea is never full. The streams keep coming back to the same place, and then they flow out again. Everything is tedious and tiresome, more than one can tell. No eye ever sees enough, and no ear ever gets its fill of hearing. Whatever has been is what will be again. And whatever has already been done is what will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Is there a single thing about which one can say, look, this is new. It was already here ages ago, long before us. No one remembers the people who came before us. And as for those who are coming after they are gone, no one will remember them either.
Okay.
Boy, is that different than NIV.
Yeah. The HV definitely is Ecclesiastes, you can notice some difference in translation. We had two examples of this when we
What's
were.
the difference between the two? One harsher or one?
Karen, point out some
More
things.
to the point?
No, they're not that it's harsher. It's just.
All things are wearisome, more than one can say. The eye never has enough to see, nor the ear fill of hearing. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun is like the only sentence that didn't get paraphrased somehow. It's all paraphrased.
Saying the same thing, but.
Right. So we had two examples of this where I thought of exactly what he says here about the sunrise and sunsets. The condo we stay at, at sunset you go on the golf course and there's a nice place where there's between two trees in January is right where the sun goes down over the ocean, right? And over the course of the time we were there, it started kind of over here and it moves over here. Just like anyway, that's going to be the same here. We just don't see it as much because we're not in that. But I thought, and next year it's going to be the same thing, just like it was last year, just like it will be 10 years, no matter what's going on in the world. No matter, it could be a nuclear bomb that goes off and destroys everything, that sun is still going to set right there. Like clockwork, right? Every January, that's where it's going to be. And the other one was we were walking along a path along the beaches, and there's a bunch of hotels here and then the water here, and we just kind of stopped and watched an area where the waves were just and I said to Steph, I wonder how long, how long those rocks that are down there that we see the water crashing up against, think of how many thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Every day. Like those rocks could be personified, right? That's just their thing. Every day, the water hits them, the water goes out. The water hits them, the water goes out. And how much our lives change, and we get sick and we get healthy and we get fat and we get skinny and we get old, but that is the same every day. And the different people are going to walk by here tomorrow, and it's going to be the same rocks, the same water, and this was that's kind of what he's saying here, right? It's nothing new. Same. As he said, the mountain will be there tomorrow. You might not be, but that mountain will be. And gets you kind of philosophy, right? Gets you thinking a little deeper. So on the basis of 3 to 11 there, what would you say is the difference between the worldview of the heathen and the worldview of the Christian? And what specific ways, we'll add that second question, do you see that heathen worldview in action?
I think the worldview of the heathen would be about the here and now.
Okay.
I've got 60, 70, 80 years, if I'm lucky, and I gotta make the most of it, get the most out of life I can, build up my barns, whatever you wanna call it, and have a good time. Whereas the Christian, I know for me anyway, the older I get, the more I think like Solomon does. Meaningless. I mean, you spend your whole life accumulating, and all of a sudden you realize, what am I going to do with all this stuff?
Yeah. So it's not that you're against having a good time. It's just not your
not at
purpose.
all.
It's not your
Not at all.
purpose in existence. It's not your.
I think we look outside of our lives more. We look to what Solomon is saying, more so than the heathen, a lot more.
Yeah, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you die. Right?
Yeah.
And you say, well, tomorrow I'm going to die, but my sole purpose of existence is not going to be to eat, drink, and be merry. Right? That will be something I do. Lord willing, I'll be able to eat and drink and be merry, but it's not why I'm here.
Right.
I'm not going to make it my be-all and end-all.
I think to me, the heathen attitude is that they can fix this.
Okay.
Yeah.
With storms and whatever. Sure, maybe climate change is a thing, and weird things happen on this earth, let's face it. And they immediately want to try and find solutions.
Right.
Let's study this, let's figure out what's wrong and get it fixed. It's not gonna get fixed.
Right.
We look at it, well, okay, God.
This is what it is.
All the patterns and the cycles,
If we
if you give us enough time, we can fix
hard enough,
anything.
we'll have peace. No,
Yeah.
we will not have peace. I'm
World peace
sorry.
ain't gonna happen. Sorry to break it.
Try writing that in Facebook. You get a few answers.
Clobbered.
Yeah, what did I see? Not to get off on a tangent, but it was something about climate, whatever, and how some of the coldest, or no, it was the warmest summers, it was like in the 30s,
Yeah.
And you think it's bad now, go back to the 30s. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot more has happened in the last 100 years to harm the atmosphere, but it was the 30s that had really bad weather. Anyway, to your point, you're not going to figure it out, right? Can things be done to maybe help a little bit? Sure. But don't be like, we can fix this. It's not going to. Things come and things go. The cycles of the earth, the cycles of the climate. It just is what it is. Other thoughts? Anything else on that? Have you noticed as you've aged, kind of Jim's thought, that you just sort of, as you get older, or maybe when you were younger, if I work hard, if I do that, if I accumulate more, I'll be happy. And then you get to an age where you just kind of say, what I have, and
Be content. Be content.
I'm
with what you
content,
have.
yeah. Did I maybe spend a little too much time losing too much of my sanity trying to fix this problem or that? And I had to go to work, of course, but did I not need to lose as much sleep over something I didn't control? And my blood pressure went up, and I got stressed and worried, and maybe that's easier to do when you're retired and you don't have to worry about things anymore. But
All your audience.
well, I plan on not worrying about anything when I'm retired. So.
We'll see what Steph has to say about that.
I won't be able to hear her anyway. I'm losing my hearing.
They find a way to yell right through you.
There's a thing called the look.
But the point, it just kind of, it just makes sense. The cycle of life, and then you get to a point where it is what will be, will be. Can't control it anymore. I can't do much about it.
I notice as I get older, I don't care what other people think.
Well, there too, yeah. Sometimes that's maybe not a good thing, where I should be patient and kind, but yeah, there's I'm not gonna, someone says something, I'm not gonna get all mad and get back on. You have your opinion, I have mine.
Oh, long before.
All right, anything else on those first two? Third one, answer the question, what does man gain from all his labor at which he toils under the sun? Stress, Fred said?
Short-term enjoyment.
Okay, temporary joy,
No surprise here, but I'm going to be the contrarian.
Okay.
He gets what God told him to do and gave him to do.
Okay.
I worked really hard in my career because that's what God laid out before me, to support my family.
Yeah, so you gained, from the Christian worldview,
Yes,
you can say the Lord,
from the Christian world.
he gave me the blessing of family and the blessing of the job to take care of my family. And so as a Christian, you can say thank you for that blessing.
And everything else, keep it all in perspective.
Pull up. Did you see the video of Gene Hackman's house? You know Gene Hackman, the actor? Pull up the video of Gene Hackman's house on YouTube. They found him and his wife in the house, right? She had died, I think, one of them died a week earlier.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
So we don't have to watch the whole thing, but this, 10 seconds, 20 seconds of the video, I should have, just came into my head because I saw it.
He had Alzheimer's.
Yeah, he had Alzheimer's, she had some other heart defect or something. You should talk while I'm doing this. So, Gene Hackman, obviously a very accomplished actor, very famous. He can't imagine how much money he made throughout his life. And talk about a guy who just put a, there you go, house mess or house body cam would probably be fine. Yeah, just play that. It's a minute long. So this is Gene Hackman's house.
Yeah, he basically went up to him, seems pretty friendly, but then there's another 10-second dog around the corner of the town.
Yeah, it's kind of fast forward as they walk.
AC went in there, jumping on first.
Hey, buddy.
I guess Conno's gonna come down as well.
Okay.
There's others that are 10 minutes long where they find the body. They don't show the bodies, but when they find the bodies, and the whole house. I think that that's the wife, I think. The whole house it's a beautiful mansion in New Mexico, and it's absolutely. So, you could watch longer of that, but you see the point. Here's a guy who had everything, and look how it ended. He's dead in the middle of just a house that's an absolute mess. And he didn't even know where he was, and he died alone, and there's his dead wife down there, and there was a dead dog over there, and like, this is Mississippi Burning and Hoosiers, and the guy who, everyone knows Gene Hackman. Here's how it ended for Gene. Doesn't matter at the end of the day. Meaningless. Everyone's meaningless.
I think that's very relevant because as I get older, I see people ending up in homes and just, as Dr. Love said, waiting to die.
Right. Yeah, very ecclesiastical view of life, but he's got a point. Yeah.
You also realize the old saying you heard when you were younger, health is everything. You realize that when you get older.
You get older and you start to lose it. Yeah, I may not have a lot of money, but at least I have my health.
But I'll go to the positive side of it, what do you gain from all your labor? As a teacher, I'm hoping that I have students who are now adults and maybe parents, grandparents who remember something that we did wonderful in class, and that's a good positive thing for them.
Sure,
And they'll
sure.
pass that on to their kids.
I made an
You work
impact
hard
in
at your
some
job, but that's why you want them to remember that and take it with them as they go off into the world.
And that's a good, the temptation when you read Ecclesiastes is just, well, what does it matter? Why should I bother? We're all going to get old and sick and die, and our money all goes to someone else, so don't bother working. And it's good to keep that. And yet, certainly,
Sit in the recliner all day?
there is a purpose in work. There's a purpose in life. There's a purpose in the things that God allows us to do to help others.
And God
As
will
a
put the
teacher.
students later in your life, as a reminder that you did.
But as a parent too, you know, I mean, you labor so that you can give your children an education or whatever, and your grandchildren, and help them remember what great grandma did back in the whatever, you know. So, dark
To
ages.
a lesser extent, you can take that into the workplace too. I worked in a job where I worked with my hands all the time, fixing things. I took a lot of young guys under my belt and taught them things while I'm working.
Stuff a textbook can't teach you. You got to be shown how to do this.
Yeah, right. So classrooms are all over.
I scrapbook, I'm the memory keeper for the family. And when I'm long gone, there's scrapbooks for everybody. You know, and they can, it's all
How many do you have under your belt?
recorded.
12?
More than that. But I'm done, I'm on my last one.
I heard that about 5 years ago.
Promise you, honey, this is Yeah, so I mean, certainly I can answer, well, I gain a lot of, the joy of someone coming and saying, oh, thank you for explaining God's word, or thank you for getting me closer to Jesus, or that's exactly what I needed to hear today when you preach that. And certainly that is a gain for my soul to know that you're helping others get closer to God. So the counterpoint is, life isn't completely worthless. Don't just sit in your recliner and say, what does it matter? We're all going to die. Certainly work, help, and love your neighbor. And there's a place to talk about those things as well. Do you think this chapter helps explain midlife crises?
Except for the month of January, Pastor.
Right.
Month of January, you can do that.
John, the weather's always bad when you leave. Well, that's because I leave in January. There's a reason I leave in January. The timing is not unique.
Not accidental, is it?
No.
You were down there at a great time, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
For you.
For me. Midlife crisis? Does chapter help explain that, do you think? Getting old, better buy the Porsche, better do this, better do that, better get this Botox, better
Motorcycle.
don't like the way I look.
Like crisis, well, I don't know if I've ever had one, but, you get to that age where you tend to have more money,
Okay,
and then you are able to do something.
very true.
So it's kind of like a timing thing, I think, that allows you to do that at that age.
Now I can actually afford something I wanted to do a long time ago.
Kids are gone, and so you don't have that daily expense and stuff, but
I think that's how it went with for us. It was like, it was just the life that. at
You
the
can
point-
tell by the Walmart stock prices. Midlife crisis.
And what did you buy during yours?
Oh, Menards is loving him, yeah.
And Stevie, I was gonna say us.
So for you guys, it wasn't a crisis as much, it was just, oh, now we can do some things in midlife that we couldn't do.
He had a very early midlife.
About 35, I had, my life is half gone, what do we got to show for it?
Oh, you said that, huh?
Here you are, 150 and still kicking.
At
Best
35,
friend Wyatt Earp died though.
you said that at 35 years old?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh,
Well, his mother died very
I
young.
suppose that changes your outlook a little bit.
yeah.
So what was your answer? What do I have to show for it?
I told him.
What'd you do?
Set him straight?
I said, you have a wife, you have 3 kids who love you, you have a home that keeps you warm, you can go to church and be safe and here.
My rock.
What is wrong with you?
No motorcycle.
But here's what I don't have. Good advice, Susie, good advice. Yeah.
Midlife crisis is the clashing of the things you want when you were young versus the maturity of realizing you don't need
You
that.
don't need it anymore, yeah. Do I really want that? Do I really want to spend that much on it?
And in a moment of leaning one way or the other, you perhaps get something that you wanted in your youth and it doesn't bring you the joy that it would have,
Right.
10, 20 years ago.
Right. This wasn't all I thought it was going to be. And
We have a saying around our house, do you want it or do you need it?
do you need it or do you want it? Yeah.
Sometimes it's both.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And now we look at our stuff. Does it bring you joy? If it doesn't bring us joy, it's out. Right,
I
dear?
like that.
And some of that's kind of hard, right, dear?
I don't know.
I can't hear you either. What?
I'm not hearing the answers.
Someone's talking. I don't know what they're saying. Yeah, we're very much minimalist too, and Steph taught me a lot on that. Where it just we don't need it. Like, let someone else enjoy it. If it's just sitting in our basement, or just sell it or give it away, or. Well, turn to Proverbs. Well, let's first of all read. Let's read 12 through the end of the chapter. 12 through 18. Want to do that?
I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
I, Ecclesiastes, have been king over Israel and Jerusalem. I applied my heart to seek out and explore with wisdom everything done under the sky. What a burdensome task God has given the children of Adam to keep them busy. I have seen all the actions done under the sun, and look, it is all nothing but vapor. It is all chasing a wind. Whatever is crooked cannot be straightened. Whatever is not there cannot be counted. I thought in my heart, look, I have become great and accumulated more wisdom than anyone ruling over Jerusalem before me. My mind has absorbed so much wisdom and knowledge. I applied my heart to understand wisdom and knowledge, madness and stupidity. I realize that this too is chasing the wind. In fact, with much wisdom comes much frustration. The more knowledge, the more pain. You just don't want to know too much.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. You want to hear this? I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to know.
I've often said when I build computers, I was much happier before reviews were on every single piece of equipment I was putting in a computer.
Yeah.
Because all you see, it's, oh boy, this specs out to be a good part, but is it going to be a good part? Is it going to fail? Is it what? And it just,
The more you know.
everything's like that now. Now there's too much, I would say there's almost too much information out there.
Right.
Trust them.
Second guess, third guess. Should I do it? Should I not?
Well, I
4
must
star.
say,
Well,
though,
this
I got
one gave it a 2 star. This person gave it a 5 star.
information online that I didn't get from the doctor.
So as you hear the words here, this is kind of probably the section that makes you think this is probably Solomon. I had more wisdom. Remember that story where Solomon, what do you want? And he didn't want riches. Give me wisdom. Okay, I'll give you, and I'm going to give you riches too. But because you asked for wisdom and not for riches, I'm going to. So a couple times here makes it seem like this is Solomon writing. More wisdom than, well, Solomon's words that someone else is writing down. More wisdom than anyone who's ruled Jerusalem before me. So compare this to Proverbs 2, 1 through 11. Let's turn to
I
Proverbs.
got that one.
Dean's got it. Okay, go ahead.
The title is Wisdom Provides Protection. My son, if you accept my words, if you store up my commands within you by paying attention to wisdom with your ear, by reaching out for understanding with your heart, if indeed you call out for intelligence, if you raise your voice for understanding, if you search for it like silver, if you hunt for it like hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord. Then you will find the knowledge of God, because the Lord gives wisdom. Knowledge and understanding come from his mouth. He stores up sound judgment for upright people. He is a shield for those who walk in integrity. He protects those who walk on paths of justice. He guards the way of his favored ones. Then you will understand righteousness, justice, and fairness, every good path, because wisdom will come into your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant for your soul. Foresight will stand guard over you, understanding will protect you.
So talk about the wisdom that Solomon talks about there versus wisdom, whenever it says under the sun, it's just in the world, in Ecclesiastes, wisdom in the world, versus the wisdom Solomon talks about here in Proverbs 2.
World, and it might not be right. It might be false, it might be mixed up. What you get from God is the good stuff.
Yeah. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It's kind of that famous verse, man. What does the fear of the Lord all look like? So I heard you say, Susie, trusting in his word. I trust whatever he says is right and good. And now that's not always true with the world. Might be your opinion. That's fine. You can have your opinion. But I know if what God says, when God says it, it's true and it's right. And it's perfect. What else falls under the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom?
Knowing that he created everything and he created it, so
And everything.
things might be destroyed. You know, like that tree in Hawaii that burned up.
Oh, the banyan tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the world is going to be here until he comes and says, we're done, but
Yeah. So I'm hearing creation and preservation. God made it all. God preserves it all. God does with it what he wants to do
take
with
care
it.
of it no matter what's happening to it, and we can't.
Everything
Storms
he
will ruin
does,
things, but,
everything he does has a purpose,
yeah.
which we may or may not understand.
Right. Comforting to know as the world, all these crazy things happen, to say, well, the Lord's in control. And that sounds cliche, right? But to truly believe that, no, the Lord's in control. He knows what he's doing.
That's another thing, as you get more mature, you understand,
Yeah.
or it goes deeper in your brain.
You come
when
to
you're
trust,
younger,
you come
you
to
think,
trust it more.
Can't they do this or can't they do that?
Yeah. I got my solutions.
He's in control.
Right.
Yeah.
And you knew when you were younger, God's in control, but yeah, maybe you think,
Yeah, but I gotta be in control.
yeah, I want it this
Yeah,
way though. I think it should be this seems just, and this seems right, and this seems good. Well, to a man, what does that say? To a man, you think, I'm paraphrasing, you think what you think is right? Someone help me with that verse.
There's a way which
That's what it
seems
was. Yeah,
right.
it seems right to a man.
But in the end leads to destruction.
Right, so you think you got it all figured out? Maybe
Probably.
God's on a different page than you are. Who do you think knows better, you or him?
So this is like the narrow Lutheran middle road. Wisdom is good and bad depending on how
Yeah.
you gotta hit the sweet spot.
The
right down
sweet
the
spot, right. And as I said earlier, sometimes this fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That forces you to say, I don't understand, I don't have wisdom. But my wisdom comes in knowing he does. So true wisdom is saying, okay, God. In Proverbs, wisdom and folly are always kind of pitted against each other. Who do you want to follow, wisdom or folly? Wisdom is saying, I trust you. Even if I can't figure it out, you know what you're doing. Yeah, anything else there? Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Have you ever experienced the chasing after the wind? He talks about in verse 14. I've seen all things that are done under the sun. All of them are meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Have you had times in your life where you look back and say, it was a bunch of vapor? No?
Coming up empty.
Thinking
I mean, and that's, I think maybe as a Christian, as we said at the beginning, we have a different perspective. That God has used all these things for a purpose. And yeah, maybe I'll ask you again on your deathbed if I'm still here. Well, look back on life. What really matters? If I would ask you that same question 40 years ago, bet you'd have a different answer on your deathbed than you would have when you were 40 years old. You know what matters? Jesus. And that other people know about you. That was Neil Parker when he passed away, and he was still with it pretty much up until the end. And Neil Parker, very blessed. Had a lot of earthly things that God had given him, family and riches and good job, and president of the church and all these things. And I said, "What do you want me to say at your funeral, Neil?" He said, "I just want everyone to know Jesus. Tell them all about Jesus. Don't talk about me. Talk about Jesus." I can do that for you, my friend. I can do that. So, yeah, chasing after the wind. How about, well, this kind of goes to what John said, with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. What do you think about that comment from Proverbs?
Solomon agrees with me.
Solomon and John Jordan are on the same page.
I'll tell him that, I give him a bigger head. Yeah.
He's young yet.
Yeah.
He's young yet. He's red too.
I'll pick on Dean and Karen. You got to serve in public office there for a while. You got to
I'm
see a lot
still
of
there.
Oh, you're still doing it? Okay.
April.
Get to see how the sausage is made, get to hear a lot of, now you have all this knowledge of things, and not that God didn't bless your time there, but do I really want to know all these things? And, you're willing servants, but with that came a lot of crosses and heartache, and maybe it was, some days I wish I was just a citizen and not a leader in the community. And all that pressure's taken off.
All the bullets that get thrown at you.
Bullets that get
Right
shot at
here.
you.
The slings and arrows of outrageous fortune.
All right.
Yeah, it's, when you know, you gotta go up there and you gotta say, this is the budget that has to be here. And I put it together, I know. And everyone else just says, oh, you got taxes, raise them, that was terrible what you did. It was horrible. You are such a bad person for what you did.
And then they want this, and this.
Yeah.
Well, to get this, and this,
But fix
you
my
gotta do
roads.
this.
But shovel the snow and throw some ice down. Or some-
The object lesson, and with much wisdom.
No, but the
comes
DOT
much
won't give us salt because it has to go to them first, and we can only use sand. Why, we pay these taxes.
Easy to point fingers and complain when you don't have to be the one to figure out the budget.
You don't want to be chairman of Public Works and Parks during the
There you go,
winter salt
lesson for
season.
today.
Nay.
I think social media is a very good example of too much knowledge.
yes.
We just said that before. What, at the beginning, you deleted the comment. What was that? One of our daily devotions? Like the Wells daily devotions?
Yeah, daily, somebody posted a screed about the subject of the, it's like every few weeks I see somebody post a screed on one of our things, or somebody who doesn't like one of our members
Oh my goodness.
posts something about them under one of their comments, and I have to go clean it up. And it's not often, but every 4 or 5 weeks there's some bonehead who has to have a say on a church page about something completely unrelated to the church. And yeah.
I'm glad you
Get on my
monitored that,
soapbox.
John. Thank you.
Make sure people know what I think about this or that. So yeah, with social media now, it's so easy to do that. I'll show you what I think about it.
Anonymously, of course. Anonymously, of course.
In some
Anonymous
cases, it
participant.
is anonymous. Yes. Karen and I have been crucified I mean, really bad things written about us as leaders of the village of Whiting.
You will make those comments
Elected
like John
leaders.
does?
And they can say anything they want, slander,
Doesn't have
defamation.
to be true.
And, yeah, it doesn't have to be true, isn't true.
What, on the
And
internet?
we can't reply. We can't reply. We, if we tried to reply, we'd probably get some kind of ethics violation thrown at
Lawsuit,
us.
yeah.
Some Madison,
When
Okay.
my brother-in-law was alive, he was on the city council. And it used to be his good friend wrote this big, nasty letter to the superintendent. Well, that guy read it at the council meeting. And John heard all of this, and he came home and he cried. He said, "Why didn't he talk to me if he's upset over this in the school or that?"
They don't do that, Susie. They just spit it out. Just spit it out.
Don't let it sit for a minute.
Last question kind of goes to what Jim and Susie talked about earlier. What do you say to a Christian who feels their life has no purpose? Not that you felt your life had no purpose, Jim, but what do you say? You know what? Why am I still here? What does God want from me? Kind of maybe they've taken the Ecclesiastes road of taking it too far. What does it matter? Why am I here? I don't have a purpose. Formulate
If we had a
a.
purpose, God would have taken us home.
Okay, there's
We're
maybe
still
the real
here, and there's
simple.
some
You're not in
purpose
heaven,
God
so
has for us to
clearly God has some reason for you to be here.
Yeah, and that's what we have to remember, that
If he was done working through you, you wouldn't be here.
God has a purpose. Now
Thank-
that's perfect. That's what I remember.
So now let's try to find what it is. Let's give you, in the kingdom of God, what are your gifts? Let's try to analyze that and put them to work for use in God's greater kingdom.
What are your gifts?
Other thoughts on that
What are
one?
your gifts?
well, again, look at your audience here, Fred and John. We're
His age.
we pretty much have transitioned to
Old
a
people.
retirement, if you want to call it that, state. And so what is now our purpose? It's quite a thing that you have to think about and go through.
So what's the answer you've come up with? Haven't figured it out
what's your
yet?
purpose, Dean? What's God wanting you to do still?
Spend time with Sarah.
Well, I
okay.
think you're a good test case on that because you, like I said earlier, my job was to help my family and make money, and so now those days are done, and you're enjoying the benefit of your savings and things for sure. But so, what is your purpose now that you get up and don't have a job to go to? And it'd be easy for someone like you to get all depressed, and I don't know why I'm here. Just kill me now, God.
Wait to die.
Yeah.
Dr. Lowe's.
What's the
We are
animals in the yard?
beacons of light from God. When somebody younger helps out with something at church, I lay it on pretty thick, thanking them
Thank you. Yeah.
because we need people coming in so that they know what to do when we're not here. I don't know, I'm Susie's sunshine. No, it gets sickening after a while.
No. World could use more of Susie Sunshine for sure. So you've embraced your part of your purpose now is just encouragement for people who. Thank you for serving. Thank you for trying to encourage the next generation to acts of service.
Well, and look at Neil, you brought him up. All the healthcare people that worked with him at the end. I mean, I went to visit him too, and he couldn't even, I think it was right before he died, that he couldn't really speak a whole lot. But I mean, all the words of God that he spoke, and too, the way they related to the people that were working there. I mean, they were shining their light right up till the very end. That's a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, even people with Alzheimer's. So maybe they aren't able to communicate, but their families are coming in, and that's that family that's showing everybody around them, here's what a Christian family is like. I mean, you know, you have a purpose right up to the end. You just don't always know what it is.
Foolish things of the world, weak things, simple things that God uses to do amazing things. Yeah.
just their actions.
Yeah.
God driven, towards other people and stuff, helping people.
Don't tell me a nurse who's having a crummy day doesn't take encouragement when you get to serve with a family who doesn't treat you like trash and
Exactly.
yell at you and you're doing this and that wrong. Appreciates you for who you are and what you've done. Thank you so much. Don't tell me that doesn't make an impact on that nurse's life.
It does.
Show appreciation.
Seeing Jan McKelvey in church today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
Cool, that all worked, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I said hi to her and big old smile. I mean, she doesn't know me from, sure, but
Happy to be back.
That's
big
another
smile.
thing.
She's at church. She's happy.
Oh, Jan.
That's another thing that gets easier as you get older, I think, too, is doing what you just said. Saying hello to people that you don't even know. I like doing that when they come in. I don't know who they are. Good morning.
Maybe I should know you, maybe I should, I don't know who you are, but I don't care. I'm not gonna feel guilty if I
Say good morning anyway.
It's like having conversation with people in the checkout line at the store. You're waiting in line, so you converse with one another. You have no idea who these people are, and just start talking about stuff. Pass the time of waiting.
We're no longer threatening. We're just old. So now we can talk to people. We're no longer threatening.
Yeah, something dumb, he probably has dementia, he doesn't know what he's saying.
And then you don't remember it 2 weeks later anyway.
Right. So, back to the point, right?
These youngins up here.
Feel your life has no purpose, well, maybe look a little harder, right? I bet you we can find a purpose or two for you in there. Now, with that also could come, there are, depression and also some brain issues that maybe are associated with such a problem. So that's a separate kind of category that might need some professional help with this as well, that God has blessed us with. So, okay, well, that's probably a good place to pause for today. We can do Ecclesiastes and still laugh a little bit. All right, good to see you all again. I don't think I have anything else this week. Like I say, a lot of meetings, board meetings, things like that, women's breakfast.
Well, on a side note, was the highlight of the trip.
I'll be a Tuesday.
The sun coming up.
Sunset?
Drive to the airport.
Sunset. So I was sick for like the first week. It was like thankfully I could still taste because I love the food over there.
Yeah.
So, but it was coughing up. And, I would say the highlight is the sunsets. There was 4 really good ones where it's not like clouds on the horizon, but you can see the thing just melt into the ocean. That was a big one. A couple of the restaurants we eat so much raw fish when over there. A lot of the poke and the sushi and it's tasty.
Live to tell the tale.
Some raw octopus this time.
Have any chocolate covered
We had
macadamia?
a lot of macadamia nuts and a lot of macadamia.
Those are okay to eat raw.
Yeah.
Yes. No beef?
We did have some beef, yeah.
Beef.
Pipikaula, which is like
Cow.
smoked meat, and then they put it in like you could have it dry too, but like a sweet and spicy sauce. So it's like eating jerky, basically jerky, Hawaiian jerky. That was real good. I think the highlight is just doing nothing. Like you wake up and have nothing to do, and that's okay. There's no like, well, I got to be here by then. I got to do this, then I got to do. What do you want to do today? Go to the beach? Sure. Go to the pool? Sure. Want to drive somewhere? Sure. That's the highlight. Just truly a vacation.
As it should be.
Have they been rebuilt is that the island with the fire?
Lahaina's on the west side. That's going to take a long. It's starting to be rebuilt, but there's so many permits and like they really.
Like California?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, where it's going to take a long time. It was really devastating. It wiped out that whole area. It's cleaned out now. Like everything, all the scrap is away, but the rebuilding process is a tedious thing out there. And just getting supplies. I mean, it's not you go down to Home Depot and order it, and it'll be there next week. Okay, well, we'll close with a blessing. Grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all. Amen. All right.